guys, I'm Daniel Gashigi Israel. The book I'm doing is At World's End, written by Ken Follett. Ken Follett is a renowned author who's written many books which have appeared in the New York Times bestsellers, and some of his works have also been made into screen. To me, Ken Follett is more of a hero, as I shared with him a dream. When I was young, I wanted to become a writer and write many books, as I was compelled by works of such great men as he is. At World's End is a book that focuses on a young couple, Martin and Caris, who met each other at a church when they were only 10 years old. A fire kindled in them, not knowing the other also felt the same. They shared this great passion, but they never admitted to it until they were around the age of 16. Their love was strong and true, but they could not be together, as the times they were living in, which was during the 1200s and 1300 period. Young people, especially women, were not allowed to make decisions on their own regarding their own lives. Martin was a smart young man who was apprenticed to become a carpenter. He had innovative ideas, most of which were refused, as young men of the time were not permitted to bring about change. Rather they were to incorporate into the system that was there at the present and be a part of it, sharing it and believing in its ideals, so that one day when they were fathers, they would pass the same to their child. Change was considered a strange concept during the time, and not many were ready to accept it. Martin and Caris had a great love, but Caris also was a smart woman who was mainly had an ideal in business. She was successful in business, though she mainly worked under the name of her father. So she was not recognized as a businesswoman, but rather as her father's right-hand woman, which made her feel, at the time, she was not content with that position, but she had to bear with it. They lived in England, and they were ruled by the bishop. At the time, the bishops owned land, and people were directly responsible and answerable to the church and the bishops. The bishops spoke of heresy and thought of anyone who brought about change as heretics. Caris, who did not believe that only praying to God would cure the sick and wanted to become a doctor, was often accused of witchcraft and heresy, as women of her time were not allowed to be innovative. She was often found questioning the work of doctors, most of who were monks, men of God, ordained clergymen, and fighting and arguing against a monk, even though you were not a master at the subject, was considered sacrilegious, and one could even be accused of blasphemy. At one particular time in the story, Caris tried to overthrow the ruling bishop at the time, who was Godwin, but Godwin, deep sense of anger and pride, got the better of him, and although Caris was his cousin, he accused her of being a witch, associating with the dead, and she therefore had no choice but to go into the nuns' convent so as to escape with her life. Later at the time, a plague came and wiped out almost half of the population in England. Caris, as a devoted nature in which she helped people, nursed them, was considered an angel, as she was both immune to the disease and helped people recover from the disease. which most of the bishops had run away and to hide in safety for fear of dying in of the plague. Matthew, who could not bear the thought of not being with Charis, went out, sought greener pastures in Italy, where he found success as his skills were recognized in Italy, where men were ruled by men were governed by what they could do, but not by what people thought they were. Martin became rich, prosperous, and after a while the plague also reached Italy, and he had to return back to his homeland in England. At the time in England, things were not very well, and Martin's own brother had killed many people, including his wife and the Earl of Monmouth. This was considered to be a terrible sin, but because he was a king's man, he was permitted. And Martin was not content with what people would escape. They would escape their own troubles and predicaments in the name of the king and the Lord. To sum it all up, Martin and Charis, they tried to bring about change and renovate. Most of their ideals were logical, but the people were skeptical at the time, and they did not hear them out, and they ended up being frustrated. Although they had the passion and the will to bring about change to the community, they didn't do a thing because they had no power, and power was retained among a few select handmen. Ken Follett brings out this book in a way that shows us that we may want to do something, we may have the will and passion and zeal to do a great thing, a great change, but we may be hindered by skeptical men and women who hate about change and view our own inabilities to our disadvantages. The book therefore appeals to many young people that you should be able to. Therefore, to me, it's like the other appeals to us to skip our own disadvantages in order to bring about a better tomorrow and to bring about a better future for the generations to come. And that is all I had for you.